I'm Sandra Parker. In this vignette that follows, I am working with someone who's thinking about having kids, and this is someone who has a tendency to worry. And if there is an experience in being human that really brings us face to face with our vulnerability, it is certainly that of being a parent. We love these young little creatures more than our own lives, and it's not possible to protect them from everything that could go wrong. And the question is, how do we surrender to that truth and come to terms with the reality of the limits to our control? That with our best intentions, things can happen. How do we not end up worrying all the time about our kids? We'll track it. You have a potential for that. You have a potential to be a bit of a worrier, but you've also grown a lot in the time that I've known you, and you have, I think, some capacities you didn't have before, and particularly the ability to tune into the physical state of the body. And the big issue is, if you take care of what the body's feeling, you don't need to worry, because worry is a way of getting away from what you're feeling. If there actually is a problem to be solved, if there actually is something to problem solve, it's not called worry. Just so you know, worry is what-ifing, coming up with scenarios, possible scenarios for possible difficulties. And the function of it is not really as pragmatic as it appears on the surface. It's such a good cover story because it looks like you're just trying to problem solve, but you're not problem solving. If there's a problem to be solved and you're anticipating, I know Christmas is December 25th, and I know it's, you know, whatever day it is, and I know that in that period of time I need to bake that many cookies, and I need to wrap that many presents, and I need to, you know, buy the poinsettia or whatever. That knowing that allows me to cope in advance. That's not called worry, is it? You don't call that worry. You call that planning, you know? We call it worry when it has this kind of open-ended, kind of mushrooming quality of what if this, and what if that, and what if this, and what if that, and what if this, with the illusion that what we're doing is strategizing about potential problems and preparing for them. There is an infinite number of variables that could come into play, so you could be very busy with that in this what-if universe and utterly abandon this fretful, aroused, tense body that is really saying, are we safe? Hello? Ring, ring. The phone's ringing. Is anybody there? Are we safe? Is there a pack of dogs on our tail? Hello? Hello? Is anyone there? And no one's answering. No one's answering. They're off in what-if land, right? Thinking that they're going to take care of a feeling that actually all the while is not being taken care of at all. So we could cut out that defensive strategy. I actually see worry as a defense against the moment-to-moment feeling of vulnerability. And the reality is, the vulnerability of being a mom is tough, you know. Your kids can get hurt, your kids can get into things, you know. Your kids can be kidnapped. I'm sorry, I'm saying horrible, horrible things to you. There are proper things to be done, planning. There are proper things to be done to take care of things. And, you know, you do what you can do within reason, right? Can you control everything? No, and that's what's hard. It's a hard thing in life. It's one of the 9 billion futilities. One of the many, 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 many vulnerabilities of being human is that, you know, you can take the very best care that you possibly can of your child, and things can happen. And so how do you live? I mean, really dysfunctionally anxious people just worry all the time. They make themselves sick, and they actually make their children sick, right? You know, they're going to keep their kids inside a bunker with bars on the walls and never let them out because, you know, something could happen. What kind of life is that? Something is happening right now to that child, and I'm telling you, it ain't pretty, right? You're guaranteeing a bad outcome in order to prevent a possible bad outcome. So there's a cost-benefit ratio, of course. You know, our anxiety being passed on to the kid, messages being passed on to the kid about a dangerous world, you know, loss of opportunities for growth for the child, et cetera, et cetera. You know, also that we can secure and guarantee this impossible outcome. So of course, you know, it's a tough row to hoe as a parent. I think you have to decide, you know, that there is a point at which you're going to do everything you can to create a safe, secure environment for that child, and that there's a point where you must let go and have faith that the universe is also, you know, benign and wanting good things, and you know, the piece that I want to bring to the table is having some compassion for ourselves and how hard that is to do, to let go after that and say, you know, I surrender, you know. And the big commitment that I ask all of us to make, I ask myself to make, I ask you to make, is that I will stay on my side if something were to happen. You know, that if, you know, a car accident happened, or, I mean, I don't like even saying the words, but, you know, the kid fell down or, you know, injured herself or caught a bug, or, you know, that you wouldn't then immediately turn against yourself and say, woulda, shoulda, coulda, I'm a bad parent, it's my fault. And I mean, I'm not saying that you wouldn't go through some of those processes, I think we all would, but that there would be some part of you holding you, getting you through that, that out the other side you could release yourself from that. And I think that's the thing, where if people don't have a practice of some kind that I'm wanting us to cultivate here in this to have and to hold model that I'm sharing with you, this consciousness that holds you when you're vulnerable. When we have practiced that, and practiced that in small ways in our daily lives, I forgot my keys, you schmuck, oh, that's not very nice, I've already lost my keys and now I've hit myself in the head. Just take a moment, it's okay, I'm right here, poor body, settle down, I've got you, here I am. All right. If I practice it in these little tiny moments around lost keys, I'm in a lot better shape. Please God, it would never happen, but you know that if something were to happen. And it's that commitment that no matter what, I will bring compassion to myself, no matter the other insecurities, the other instabilities, the other uncertainties, the other places in our lives where we don't have control. The one thing I can choose is to come towards myself at that moment of loss, come towards myself in that moment of pain, not abandon myself in my hour of need, and be there for myself with compassion. That choice I can always make. And even if I don't make it the first time, or the second time, or the third time, I get another breath and I get another chance, and I can make that choice then. And that commitment, that's the commitment I'm asking. That's the relationship. That's this having and holding that we can practice. And that's what makes these difficult uncertainties, I think, not only bearable, but even growth promoting for us. Yeah. And you do deserve that. And so does your future little baby. Yeah.